Information shared on the following program is for general information purposes only. It does not constitute legal, tax, investment, or other advice, nor is it intended to recommend any particular investments, products, or financial instruments. Always seek advice from your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant with regard to investment, legal, or tax questions.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money, the Worry-Free Retirement, with your host, nationally recognized retirement specialist and six-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
When it comes to life, money, and the pursuit of happiness, one thing's for sure, assuming you hang around this old world long enough, stuff will happen, and major decisions will come our way. In other words, it's not a matter of if things will happen, but when. In the field of retirement planning, this is true as well. Of all the decisions one must make in retirement, the things involving major decisions about money change from if to when in a hurry. Yet, with all of the various opinions on money and when you should do that or when you should do this or that, is it any wonder that most savers I meet with are dreadfully confused about when to do certain things and, of course, when to make certain financial decisions? Which is why today, and for possibly the next few weeks, we will cover in great detail the major decisions that savers will be forced to make in retirement. That's right, decisions that do not fall into the if category, but when. So, let's get started. Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest retirement planning specialist and fiduciary, Tony Walker. And today, and again, for possibly the next several weeks, we're going to cover the main issues facing retirees, the things that these retirees will have to make a decision on, not if, but when. But before we get into the whens, I have in the studio with me to help me move this show along, as always, America's favorite financial sidekick, Mr. Aaron Orander. Good morning, Aaron, on this December 20th, 2022.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
I am doing really well, and in fact, I'm excited today. We have my favorite son-in-law, Trey Juergens, to talk about one of the wins. Incidentally, folks, in the magic of radio, I know you can't see the beautiful graphics that Derek has got up on the monitor for our TV show. We're saying win as in W-H-E-N, not win as in win a ball game. So my favorite son-in-law, Trey, will be on. And then next week, my favorite nephew, Wes Walker, and fellow fiduciary, will be on to talk about when to take less risks. So Trey on later today about when to roll over your 401k, and Wes will be on when to take less risks. But we're going to jump right into this, Aaron. But before we get started, did anything come to your mind when you thought about this? It's not a matter of if, but when. Anything in your life at all?
Oh, yeah. So as I've talked before about on this show, I've got three beautiful kids. Preston, who is 12, Miriam and Lily are 5 and 3-year-old daughters. And, you know, one thing that I've been thinking about a lot over the past year is that Preston's going to be driving soon before I know it. He's only 4 years away, which sounds crazy to me, you know.
That does. I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. Just, can you do me a favor and let me know ahead of time when Preston is on the road so I can stay off of it?
Oh, I'll let you know. But anyway, yeah, so he's only 4 years away from driving, which, you know, it would be easy to kind of put off and go, well, you know, we'll get to that bridge. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But, I mean, you know, cars will probably be more expensive even in 4 years. So I'm already kind of thinking about, okay, like what kind of car would I like to help him get? But not only that, but, you know, the car insurance that he'll be, you know, he will be added to our car insurance, I'm sure, and just all those key factors that are going to play into just in a matter of 4 years.
Yeah, you mentioned the car insurance. Good point. Exactly what we're talking about, Aaron. So Aaron's talking about something in real life with young children. Now we're segueing into real life with people who are retired or retiring soon. So here's the different wins. Now, again, we may end up coming up with more of these over the next couple of weeks, but here's a list, and I'm going to cover a couple of these today. Here we go. When people are retired or retiring soon, as someone who has personally met with over 15,000 savers, who has been recognized as with our expertise in retirement planning, these are the things that come up time and time again. Here we go. Number one, when to take Social Security. Number 2, when to roll over your 401k plan to an independent advisor. Number 3, when to deal with the tax tumor. Number 4, when to start taking less risk. Number 5, when to start spending your money before it's too late. I love that one. Number 6, when to seek a retirement planning specialist and retirement firm. Number 7, when to purchase an annuity. And assuming you're a saver, you're going to want to put at least some annuities into your plan. So that's a biggie. And finally, unless we come up with more, when to admit you're not going to live forever. So, Aaron, let me jump right in the essence of time. I'm going to cover the first one, when to take Social Security. Now, folks, there's a lot that goes into this, but one of the things I've found over the years is there is no one-size-fits-all on when to take Social Security. It's funny, Aaron, I had a client come in today, and bless her heart, she just rolled over her 401k. She's kind of still nervous about retirement, just decided to retire recently, happy with everything we're doing, but she's getting ready to turn 62. And she's been listening to a financial entertainer, and the financial entertainer made this statement, Aaron: don't ever take Social Security before age 70. Now, doesn't that sound like a pretty dogmatic statement? I mean, you can take it at 62. So why would the financial entertainer say don't take it until you turn 70?
Probably because he's going to get more if she waits longer.
That's true. That's true.
I would say that's one reason. I honestly don't know, because when you say that, the first thing I think is, well, we talk on this show all the time about everybody's not in the same place at the same time. Everybody doesn't have the exact X amount, same of dollars, when they turn 70 or 60 or 50 or whatever. So I honestly don't know why he would say that, other than it probably benefits him or her, the advisor, in some way, shape, or fashion.
Yeah, and I think in this example, what the advisor was trying to, or the financial entertainer was trying to say is, that is true, because I asked her, I said, well, why did they say that? And said, well, they said something about Social Security growing at 8% a year guaranteed while you're not using it or drawing it. And I said, that's true. Keep going. Well, they just said that it would be better. Where could you get 8% guaranteed? So why not let Social Security grow? And I said, true, but keep going. What's the problem with this? And it was so funny. Now, here's a lady that doesn't know anything about retirement planning, Aaron. She goes, well, I guess to me what didn't make sense is, what if I don't live past age 70? And I'm thinking, yeah, bingo.
I don't want to get morbid, but it's like, yeah, everybody doesn't make it to 70.
Yeah. So you lose all those benefits. So, folks, basically what you have to understand is there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this. It's a huge question. It's very important, this when to take Social Security. So let me give you a few things you can think about. And, of course, we're going to go to our own Lisa Allerkamp in just a second in our Bowling Green office, who specializes in providing great advice on Social Security. But this is the world according to Tony. Here we go. Number 1, what is your life expectancy? How long do you think you'll live? That goes into the decision-making process. Number 2, what other taxable income might you have that could affect the taxability of Social Security? Only a retirement planning firm is going to go through this detail to help you. Number 3, is it important to have a survivor benefit that's a large benefit upon your death? So in some cases, that's why it might be better to wait, because you want to leave a larger survivor benefit when you die. And finally, here's the last one. Aaron, I hate to be cynical, but how much do you trust the government to be around in the future? You saw that article recently I found. Do you know when the government trust fund, the trustees of the Social Security, are predicting when Social Security will run out of money?
Yeah, it's like in the 2030 something.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like 10 years from now.
Yeah, I think 2035 or whatever. So will it run out of money? I think they'll make adjustments. Will they have to adjust benefits lower? More than likely, I think they will. I mean, it's not going to make it the way it's set up. So, folks, here's the thing. You have to look to a retirement planning specialist like Tony Walker Financial to help you. Then there's also some major changes and things you need to be understanding if you're going to draw your Social Security prior to full retirement age. It even gets messier if you're not careful. So to help us understand this, we're going to go right now to our own Lisa Allerkamp. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, first off, Lisa, explain what full retirement age means in terms of Social Security.
For Social Security, full retirement age is the age at which you can receive your full retirement age benefit, not reduced. And this age varies depending on your individual date of birth. So it can vary between 65 years of age and 67 years of age.
Okay, and we're seeing more and more people. I had a lady in yesterday. She's 62, thinking about drawing Social Security, but may want to go work somewhere either part-time or maybe full-time. But are there some limitations on how much she can earn in terms of wages if she draws Social Security at that age prior to full retirement, but then goes back to work?
Sure, there are some limitations. Anytime you are before your full retirement age, Social Security has an annual earnings test, and that's a limit on how much you can earn before your full retirement age if you're receiving your benefit. For 2023, that limit is $21,240. So if you're prior to full retirement age and you're receiving your benefit, you can only earn up to $21,240 a year without that affecting your benefit.
Okay, well, let's say somebody maybe just works a little bit of part-time, $10,000 to $12,000, but also is taking out income, let's say, from an IRA of $20,000 a year, maybe has some rental income of $20,000 a year. And again, we're assuming this person's 62 drawing Social Security. Will those other income sources affect this earnings test?
Those other income sources you mentioned will not affect the annual earnings test. What's included in the annual earnings test are your wages, what you see on your W-2, or any self-employment wages.
Okay, Lisa, as always, valuable resource. Thank you so much for what you do for our clients, the income planning department, and of course, your knowledge in Social Security. So you make it a good day.
Sure, you too, Tony.
All right, wonderful interview there with Lisa Allerkamp. Folks, when I return, my favorite son-in-law will be in the office. We do hundreds of these a year. They're called 401k rollovers. And our next win is, when should you as a saver consider rolling your 401k over to a firm like Tony Walker Financial? Stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Mandy Houchins, and one of my main responsibilities here at Tony Walker Financial is annuity service. One of the most important things that I do for our clients is to help them to make sure that their beneficiaries are up to date. Life events happen. It could be death, marriage, divorce. Those kinds of things happen and cause you to maybe double check or make changes to beneficiaries. We have currently already in 2022 processed 36 death claims for clients. Those are obviously times that we help clients to update beneficiaries, make sure that they're up to date. Those are so important because you want to make sure that the people that you want to receive your money at your death actually do receive it. If you need to make changes or just verify who your beneficiaries are on any of your accounts, feel free to give us a call. You can ask for me, again, Mandy Houchins here at Tony Walker Financial. Thank you.
With the uncertainty of the stock market, now may be the best time to consider moving your 401k to safer territory. To talk to me at no cost or obligation, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. I am Tony Walker, and on today's episode, in case you're just now joining us, the title is, It's Not a Matter of If, but When. W-H-E-N, when. Over the years, as I've done this now some 38 years, it's one of those things that we're coming up with a laundry list of things that are really, really impacted by this when, and one of those is when to roll over your 401k plan and why. So with us in the studio here in this beautiful December day of 2022 in the Louisville studios is none other than my favorite financial sidekick and son-in-law, Mr. Trey Durgans. Good afternoon, Trey, and how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, and what, at 10 minutes notice on this show? Or I told you this morning. I gave you plenty of time.
I'm still trying to read my own handwriting from our brief discussion this morning, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, and I was getting ready to say, on this particular topic, if anybody I could drag into the studio last minute, it's you, because you've become I would say, just watching you these past 5 years, I would call you an expert at this whole 401k menagerie and rollover process that the financial world has set up for these poor savers out here to navigate. So kudos to you and all the hard work and how good a job you're doing. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's kind of set the stage, Trey, and I'd asked you to come up with a few reasons. I've got a few of my own, but I mean, we'll probably do several hundred 401k rollovers this year alone, wouldn't we? I mean, when you count pensions and I mean, that's some pretty, I'm sure we could track it, Connie, or somebody could, but at least a couple hundred.
Yeah, and I think what you mentioned, the when is the best time to roll over your 401k. It's usually whenever you can. And there's many reasons for that, but the biggest one is to get a little bit more use and control of your own hard-earned savings. So a few of those, if you don't mind me listing them.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We can kind of jump into that, and then we can kind of go from there, all the inner workings of how those different rollovers may work. But first off, if you change jobs, so you're not yet to that magical 59.5, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but you do decide to change jobs, that 401k with the previous employer can now typically be rolled over to an IRA elsewhere. That's oftentimes when we help somebody. The next one is if you for unforeseen events happen to lose your job, you're laid off or you're let go, company closes, that gives you an opportunity to move those 401k funds via rollover, again, to an IRA elsewhere. That magical age of 59.5, 90% of the time when you obtain the age of 59.5, you're able to do what's called an in-service age-based distribution via rollover, which again is not a taxable event. When you roll your 401k over to an IRA, that's not a taxable event. We're not sending the money to you. We're going to assist you in a direct rollover to the new IRA custodian. And then another one is when you retire. If you retire, you separate from service by retirement. You show as terminated, which is a happy termination. It's retirement. You will be able to roll over your 401k. And then lastly, if you have retired and you've just parked those funds there, kind of forgot about them, when you turn right now, as of the date of this recording, the Secure Act RMD age, required minimum distribution age, is age 72. So at that point, you have to do something with that money, unless you're still currently working at age 72, which good for you. But if you're still currently contributing, you wouldn't have to. But if you're no longer working and have a 401k age 72, you got to start taking money from that.
And go back to that 59.5, because a lot of people are kind of confused by that. So let's be clear on this, folks. So let's say, and again, like you said, Trey, not everybody allows this, but most plan documents do. Let's say you just hit the magical age of 59.5. It's a government age. Don't ask me where they came up with this. You're not that happy with the 401k. Maybe you want to move it over to an independent fiduciary like Tony Walker Financial. You like the idea of a game plan. You want a local service, all the attributes of working with somebody like us. But you're thinking, well, I can't move it over because I'm still working.
Right.
So walk through that procedure that we go through to roll it over, and also how they can still continue to maintain the old 401k and contribute to it. So walk through those steps.
Yeah, this is a process we often call old money, new money. Some folks are beating down the door as soon as they turn 59.5 for us to help roll over their 401k because they're aware of it. And then there's other people that call in looking for options, advice, professional management, and they say, oh, really, I can move that. So it's we have some of both, but at age 59.5, if you're eligible, we'll call, determine that you can, we'll assist you in that rollover. And the process that we put into place is opening up an IRA, assisting you in that rollover. You continue contributing to your existing plan. So that goes on.
So you don't totally shut down the 401k, right?
No, people get nervous thinking we're going to totally kick them out of their plan. They continue on with their same 401k custodian. Their payroll deductions for contributions to the 401k are unaffected. We take the old.
If they get a match, they'd still get their match.
Exactly. Right. Match is unchanged. The limited options that they may have had in that 401k, now there's endless options for us to allow them to invest in. They continue contributing. We take the old money, put it into a plan with Tony Walker Financial. They continue to contribute new money into the plan until retirement. Then we can roll that over at retirement.
Yeah, let's speak to that. So now somebody's probably going, okay, this is great. That gives me an idea of when I can move rollover money to you guys, but why would I do that? What are some of the advantages? So You know how proud I am of this split IRA concept. So maybe share with people, what is the split IRA concept? What is the cost to open up these accounts? But more importantly, how we manage that process and able to give them, as you said earlier, this use and flexibility and control of their money that a 401k won't allow them to have.
Right. It's exactly that. It's use, more flexibility, more control of their money. We can accomplish that with the split IRA by better getting a gauge of what their risk tolerance is. The 401k plan, while it's a great savings tool, is a lot of the times riskier than savers want to be. We work with savers. The 401k plan, oftentimes they lump folks into these target date funds that sometimes have way more equity exposure, stock exposure, than they would ever really be comfortable with. So in looking at the limited options they may have in their 401k versus the options we have available to them with the split IRA concept, we can provide them a lot more use, flexibility, and control.
Next week, I'm going to have my favorite nephew and fellow fiduciary, Wes Walker, talking. It's his win I've assigned to him is when to take less risk. And I think you're getting into the area there that I really wanted to cover before we close out this segment, Trey. And that's really, we are working mainly with retirees, people approaching retirement. We're not working usually. We do some, but not 30 and 40-year-olds. These are people that need to really back off on the risk. So speak to the fact of how well our split IRA, especially with our expertise in annuities, helps them to protect a portion or a good portion of that money, plus the feature of our mailbox money. That to me, that's one reason to really consider us. Explain how that process works with the annuities.
Yeah, well, being fiduciaries and having the ability to both do annuities and managed IRA brokerage accounts with the Schwab platform, we can get a judge of what their risk tolerance is, and we can answer that question of why take all this risk if you don't have to. If we can show them with an income plan using these two sides, the annuities with guarantees, mailbox money, brokerage accounts with low, reasonable rate of return assumptions that we can show over time and show them that they're going to have enough money to retire, why wouldn't you?
That's right. So folks, maybe that's you sitting there going, yeah, why wouldn't I do something like that? So let's go over those tips again for when to roll over your 401k. Either you have a 401k at a previous employer, for whatever reason, doesn't matter the age on that, we could move that over and roll it over. And again, there's no upfront cost to move it over, no taxes if it's done properly. We'll help with all this. You may have reached the age of 59 and a half, and your employer allows for that rollover to take place. We could do that. You may already be retired. Certainly, we could move that 401k and roll it over. Or you just may be sitting there saying, you know what, Tony, I've had this 401k for years. I've been retired. We didn't mention this, quite frankly, Trey, but some of these people have already rolled their 401k over to another advisor. Technically, this would be called a transfer, but we can't leave this one out. And they're no longer getting those plans serviced.
Right.
So you might have a 401k you've rolled over to another advisor, which would technically be an IRA, but you're like, man, I still need somebody like you. Look, folks, just do this. Give us an opportunity to show you how we work. It's easy to get started at Tony Walker Financial. And best of all, it's free to talk to me in person, the owner of the company. It's called the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. All you got to do to get started is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started button. Or if you like, give us a call locally here at 270-843-9380. Or feel free to call us on our toll-free line at 877-499-WALK. Well, we'll be right back. Trey, thanks for your time, and we look forward to doing many more rollovers for years to come.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Our employee spotlight today shines brightly on our own Leanne Tinsley, tax certified specialist at Tony Walker Financial. Leanne, first of all, thank you for making the drive to Louisville from Bowling Green today.
Sure, anytime.
I know you're always excited about these spotlights.
I love this stuff.
Well, there's two reasons. You've had a name change since we first did our first spotlight, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And secondly, you've been with Tony Walker Financial 3 years.
That's right,
okay.
3 years.
A lot has transpired. So first of all, for our audience, share a little bit about your background prior to joining Tony Walker Financial and what you've learned and the things you're doing now with us.
Well, I started out doing bookkeeping and payroll for small companies. As a matter of fact, that's how I got initially with you. I was taking care of those duties for you, and then you drug me kicking and screaming into full-time work for you, and also had a lot of background in tax prep work as well. So that background definitely was advantageous when I moved over to your practice full-time.
Well, you mentioned the word tax prep. How would you define tax preparation, which that's fine, so you're preparing taxes, if you would define that, versus tax planning, which is what we do at Tony Walker Financial?
Well, tax preparation usually takes place after the tax year's closed, obviously. So there's not a lot of planning that's going to be going on there. That's historical. What we do now is we're looking into the future and trying to find ways that we can save you on the tax side for your future tax years.
And what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions out there in terms of what we do? I mean, you even have talked to people before, and I think they say, well, don't y'all just do annuities, or don't y'all just do investments over there? How would you describe to people what we do in terms of the planning aspect of what we do?
I don't think people really understand the scope of the planning department here at Tony Walker. While yes, we are involved in annuities and we do have the brokerage platform, there's a lot more involved there, from tax planning to income planning and really planning for your entire retirement. And we just sure appreciate having you on board, and it's been a wonderful 3 years. Hope to have many more with you. So yes. Thank you so much, Leanne. You're watching the Worry-Free Retirement and this Employee Spotlight. You have a good day.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Do you have a 401k, IRA, thrift savings account, 403b, or lump sum pension that you'd like to move to safer territory? Did you know that all the money you see on your 401k statement isn't really yours? Depending on your overall taxable income, the government has essentially a lien on your 401k that can tax as much as 40% of your money when you go to take it out. Tony Walker calls this the 401k tax tumor. For over 33 years, retirement specialist Tony Walker has helped thousands of savers worry less about money by creating game plans to deal with your tax tumor. Get control of your retirement by controlling the taxes owed on it. Schedule a free meeting to see if you can reduce your tax tumor and provide a guaranteed income you can never outlive. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. Tony Walker. I hope you're enjoying today's show. As we mentioned at the first of the show, there's a lot of wins that we need to cover. It's probably going to be 2 more shows. There is something I'd like to share with you, though, in the meantime. Over the years, I've met with so many people, and one of the things that gets real confusing with people, I think it's just because the mere fact that we're on, Aaron, now 7 different TV stations? 7. 7. And in fact, by the time this show airs, we're going to be on another TV station 2 different times. So technically, our show is on 8 to 10 times, depending on which station. So, and then on the radio stations, we're on 5 or 6, I think?
5, I believe. Yeah, 5.
And by the way, real quick, tell people how they can catch us on our YouTube channel and SoundCloud real quick.
Sure, no problem. Folks, I'll make this quick. You want to listen to past radio shows? Go to SoundCloud.com. Right there in the top, just type in the Worry-Free Retirement. If you want to watch past television shows, go to YouTube.com. And in that search bar, type in Tony Walker Financial.
Thank you, Aaron. So here's the point, folks. Many people say, am I really going to meet with you, Tony? I mean, I really don't believe that you've got the time. Folks, that's why I've set up the organization to give me time to meet with prospective clients. So take advantage of this right now. It's called the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call, where you and I will talk by phone, and if it warrants, I'll be happy to meet with you in person at either our Bowling Green, Louisville, or Lexington, Kentucky offices. To take advantage of this, just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started, or feel free to give us a call at 877-499-9255. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Next week, we'll continue with It's Not a Matter of If, but When. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free. Make it a good one.